One of the hardest times to trade within FIFA 22 Ultimate Team is during a market crash. It seems like everything is going down in price and there you are trying to buy lower than the lowest buy now and being able to make profit. There will even be deals where initially it looks like a fantastic trade where you'll potentially be able to make thousands without having to put too many coins in at the beginning. But unfortunately, as you try to list them, the first hour they don't sell, the second hour they don't sell, the third hour. Now you go and check that player price and unfortunately they've dropped way below what you initially bought in at. So to help you out, I put together this video which will show you the do's and don'ts of trading during a market crash. But before we do get into the video, if you're looking to get some very easy coins, then there is no better place than Mule Factory. Head over there to get yourself some cheap, fast FIFA 22 coins, completely reliable, and if you use Fnatic5 at checkout, you'll also get yourself a 5% discount. Link can be found in the description down below. Getting back into the video. With a market crash, some expect players to be fine 1 second, everything's at the correct price of what it currently is, and then the next second expect everything to drop about 50%. A market crash doesn't happen as sudden as that. It's a process that gradually happens over time, and player prices will just continue to go down. Some expect with Team of the Season for Team of the Season to be released and then everything to just suddenly drop. In fact, the Team of the Season crash started about a month and a half ago. At the beginning of March, near enough every rare gold player that still had some value all of a sudden started to drop in price, and over the next couple of weeks, they continued to drop at a fairly rapid rate, only for it to start to level out during April and now all of a sudden starting to take a second dip. This is where the first lots of people that understand how the FIFA cycle works already started to sell off their players to maximize the most amount of coins. That is where we got that first initial crash. Things started to level off because it was that middle ground between those that did want to maximize their coins being done and those that don't even know Team of the Season is happening, still not actually knowing. Over the past couple of weeks, every content creator has done videos on Team of the Season, so now we have the process of those that didn't initially sell, selling off their most expensive players to maximize the most amount of coins. Now these player prices will continue to go down, especially once everyone does open all of their packs that they saved for Team of the Season, as well as load up on loads of different FIFA points. So for you to actually take advantage of all of this, it is still a good idea for you to trade. I know it makes things a hell of a lot more difficult, considering if you do buy a player and just hold on for them for a week, it's likely that you're going to be able to sell them for less than you initially bought in at, even if it was a very good deal and you managed to buy them way below market value right at the beginning of the week. I recommend looking at some of the very basic trading methods, especially if you're not comfortable at trading during these times. Go all the way back to bronze and silver players because they're really not going to be affected that much with a market crash. Silver and bronze players, because they are so limited, have a crazy fluctuation hour by hour. 1 second they may be listed for 500 coins, next they go up to 2,000 coins, then they're back down to 400 coins, and next second they're back up to around about 900. You really can't predict it. Whereas when you look at rare gold players, especially once you include the likes of Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, all of those high rated desirable rare gold players, if you look at the graph on Footbin and check their price from the beginning of FIFA 22, they're just always going down. But with bronze and silver players, it really doesn't matter. In fact, a lot of them have increased since the first day of FIFA 22. And even with this market crash, it's still the exact same thing. They're really unaffected, so you can trade with them knowing that they're not going to drop a ridiculous amount over the next couple days or even weeks. And even if they do drop, it's just down to the natural price fluctuation that bronze and silver players go through, and it's likely that they will increase again. Once the Team of the Season is released, I do recommend staying away from them for the first couple of days. This is to buy them off the transfer market. This is typically when they are at their most expensive, and it's likely if you buy into them at that point, if you were to go and sell them later, even if it is just a couple days later, you're likely to lose coins. And we're not just talking about it being the 5% EA tax. No, the player could potentially, and this all depends on the type of player that you're buying into, but they could go down by hundreds of thousands of coins, especially if you're looking at those more expensive top tier players. This isn't just strictly team of the season, this is every single promo that we've had within every single Ultimate Team. When they are first released, that is where there is the most hype surrounding those players. And to make matters worse, it's also when they have their lowest supply. The only way that you can get some of these team of the season players on the transfer market is if someone packs them and then lists them onto the transfer market. Right at the beginning, there's only a fair few amount of people that's been able to do this. Even when it comes round to trading, I don't trade with team of the season players or any type of player that's part of a promo which is active that week. I wait until they're just coming out, where I will buy into them as an investment, or the following week, which is where I'll start to trade with them. The only way in which I will trade with players is if they're already at their minimum. Well, if they are at their minimum, then you're limited on the amount of coins and the amount of profit that you're able to make from that card once you do sell them on. So in most cases, you probably want to avoid trading with team of the season players when they are first released. If you're looking to invest with players above 100k, they will go down. Team of the season is a great time within Ultimate Team, but it also signifies the end of this current FIFA. We got the next 2 to 3 months filled with loads of different team of the seasons releasing every single week. And during this period, this is where loads of players will start talking about the next FIFA, FIFA 23, as more leaks start to come out, and we also start to get live streams and news reports from EA themselves. And after team of the season, that's where it's pretty much a free-for-all. EA will just re-release all the cards that have been part of FIFA 22, and they will put them into different FUT Champion rewards. You'll be able to get them at different SBCs. Everything gets re-released. So at this point, if you're looking to make investments above 100k, it's extremely unlikely for them to go up in price. What really highlights what's going to happen at this time of the year is if you do use a site such as FUTBIN. You can go back to the likes of FIFA 21, 20, 19, 18, and so on. Just keep on going down the list. In every single FIFA with the most expensive players within the game, at this point, they always go down. So investing with expensive players, it's no real point in you doing it. It's not impossible, there will be a few players that go up, but you need to time it correctly. And for most players, and this does include myself, we can't time it correctly. If you're looking to buy players to use for your team, by all means, it does mean that you're going to lose coins, but at least you're going to have fun playing with them as part of your team, especially if you've been wanting to use them for a very long time, but you've only just been able to afford them because they have gone down in price. If you're trading with players above 100k, you can still make profit. It's just a case of you need to sell them on relatively quickly, or quicker than what we had to do before. As what we mentioned earlier, a market crash isn't a case of 1 second it being high priced and then the next second everything's dropped by 50%. They will gradually go down. So if you're looking to trade, buy a player and sell them on by listing them onto the transfer market immediately, you can give it a couple days to even a couple weeks for you to sell them. It does all depend on the player. During this period when I'm looking to trade for expensive players, and this could be any types of special cards before, it could be team of the season players, it could even be the icon trader method that we use regularly here on this channel. Any of those types of methods, now when I go through them and look to list a player, I will list them way below the market value. We're not talking about it being joint the lowest or just a couple thousand coins. We're talking about potentially being 5 to 10k less. The more expensive we go, especially once we look at players going for like 800, 900, a million coins plus, that is where I'll start to undercut by a much higher amount. I just like being able to buy these expensive players, still be able to make profit, but sell them on insanely quickly during this time. The market can be extremely unpredictable, with price fluctuations on a daily basis due to many different re-releases of promos that happen towards the end of team of the season, but also during team of the season. Once a new team is released, and it normally happens a couple times per week, we get a new team. There's just so many people opening packs. I just want to get rid of my trades as quickly as possible. And on a very similar line to this, I do also clear out my club. We're not talking about getting rid of absolutely everything, because some things are still useful, such as team as well as fodder, which will be used for SBCs. But any type of investments that I did have initially, I've now sold them on. Ever since day one of FIFA 22 Ultimate Team, when it was first released, I've been telling people on a weekly basis, and I've included it in many videos, that you should be buying into the cheap Team of the Week players. because they always gradually increase over time, and this is true. I am yet to make a loss on any of my Team of the Week players this year. With Team of the Season, I did the exact same thing. I started buying into these Team of the Week players just to hold on to them. One of each player that was priced anywhere between 10 to 20k, part of that Team of the Week, and just before they were taken out of packs, I bought one of them and stored them to my club. As we got closer to Team of the Season, those players gradually increased, and my intention was never to keep on holding on to them during Team of the Season because they always go down. I always sell just before. That is where there is the most hype. I claim my profit, get rid of everything, and if they do continue to go up, well, it doesn't really matter because I managed to profit from every single one of my cards, so I'm in a good position nevertheless. But if they do go down, well, it also doesn't matter because I did manage to profit from every single one of my cards. With the players that are still left in my club at the time of recording this video, I still have my team. This is because everyone within that team I enjoy playing with. They're either rare gold expensive players, but I just enjoy using them, or they're untradeable, in which I can't sell them anyway. The other types of players that I have within my club are just cheap gold players that will be used for SBCs. They technically will be part of the clear out, they're just going into a completely different place. It's not the case of selling them on to maximize the most amount of coins, it's in fact to throw them into SBCs so I can maximize the most amount of packs to open for Team of the Season. These are the things that I look to do when maximize my coins during a market crash. All things considering, we've been able to make a lot just from selling off some of those investments. Those investments worked out incredibly well for me. And hopefully if you have been watching the videos, you did a very similar thing. I know it's a long-term investment, but this is the point in which we do profit from them. If you do have any questions about anything, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. But anyway guys, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going to see ya.